our plan to feel better in our bodies when we leave class today, no matter what the situation, whether it's hot around you or whether you have AC and it's chilly. I just want you to feel good. So that means make your own choices today. Change things up if what I do isn't work for your body. Just change it up. Add a child's pose anytime. All right, here we go. Let's take a moment to be present in our body and our breath and just accept what is without trying to change anything for a moment. And then we start making our inhales and exhales equal in length. Deep, full breaths. Imagine that those breaths are cleansing us of any negativity, any low vibrations, anything that's stuck or tight. We soften our bodies physically, open our hearts, do our best to clear out our minds, and let those inhales bring to us what we need. Taking that focus a little deeper, taking it to your internal power center, your center of wisdom, center where it's always peaceful no matter what's happening around you or in your body. Bring your focus and attention there, and most of you know how much I love words. Let a word come to you, a word, pretend you have it on a rock. Just find a word that suits you today, something you can sort of focus your attention on. Once that word comes to you, take a moment to set your intention. Maybe it is that word or using that word today. And take your 3 breaths. And at the end of your 3rd exhale, let's just begin to warm our neck up, turning our head, checking in physically with our body now as we begin to move. Chin to chest, to sky. Moving those shoulders in any way that feels good. Moving your whole upper body, maybe taking a circle. Both ways. Coming back to center, let's just take a little twist, see how it feels, if the sides of our body feel like they're tight today or if they're loose and open. Let's do that again. Coming back to center, start some movement for our arms. Let's reach up with a big inhale. Let's take it forward on the exhale. Check in with that low back in your hips. Walking your hands or just wiggling around. Back up to center, another breath in. let's take a twist to the left. Keep the spine tall. Hold that twist for a moment. If it's too painful, if you're too tight, you can go back to center and do something else. But if you can hold it for a moment, just see if you can check in with your shoulders, your spine, the sides of your body, your neck. And then we come back to center and take the other side, lifting up. We twist right, do the same. Holding there for a couple breaths, just feeling that twist. And release it back to center. All right, let's move it all the way up to standing today. Taking a moment with our feet, rocking back and forth on our feet, spreading our toes. And then focusing in on the ankles and the knees as you work your way up. I'm going to take my feet a little wider than hips distance, and because next we're going to do a little hula action, each direction, warming up those hips. Welcome to everybody who joined in a little late. Happy to have you here. All right, let's take those arms again, lift up, reach up. We're going to take a big stretch to the sky and add a side lean. And then we're going to bring those arms down, and we're just going to circle them forward. They don't have to be tight and tiny circles. They can be whatever kind of circles you want to do today. And then we're going to circle them the opposite way. And then we're going to start our crisscrosses. Taking one hand over the other. Making it about the arms to begin with, and then adding in our drawing back, opening the chest, and our rounding forward. Adding the shoulders. Couple more of each. Great. Moving chair. We're going to lift those arms, sink it down and back, just move arms and legs together. See if you can sink a little lower. Now we're going to add some balance. So we're going to go up on the balls of our feet when we lift up. We're going to rock back, lift our toes. Just 5 of those. Now on this next one, take it up and hold. Lift up, reach up, balance on the balls of your feet. And then sink it back to your heels, lift your toes coming into chair. Thank you to those of you who turn your cameras on. I know some of you are not comfortable with that or just cannot for some reason, but I appreciate being able to see you. I've subbed for classes where people don't turn their cameras on, and it's just no fun for the instructor, so thank you. We're going to take this into a balanced chair, coming onto the balls of our feet. Lift your heels. And release. All right, let's take a wide stance. Wake those inner legs up, those knees. Find your best position here for a squat. We're going to do some sunflowers, so take it up, sink it down, tilt it forward, and sweep. Now you can feel the low back in your hamstrings a little bit. At least I can. So be gentle if you need to. Two more. Let's add some rotation, but only if you're ready for some movement in a circle. The reason you might not be is it hurts your low back or it hurts your knees. stay center position. Two more this way. And let's swing it the other way. Two more. Goddess. If you want to pulse it, those of you who have tightness around your hips, pulse it. And then bring those hands into heart center. We're going to lift our heels. Lift them both at the same time if you want. Taking the stretch now, hands to knees. Brace and lower. Press away, turn, feel your best side stretch there. Other side. And back to center, walk those feet in. Just a little bit of work for our hip flexors here. And then we will go into some more lunge type things. So standing on your right leg, raise that left knee up. Gonna hold here on this one side for a moment, checking in with our balance, but also warming things up. So warm the ankle, flex and point the foot. Keep this knee high. Then we're going to take it out to the side, back to center for 5. Now, something we don't normally do, bring it back to center, lift it higher, use your hands, and draw that knee way up to your chest. Now we're going to release it, keep it high, keep the upper body upright, keep the leg bent, and just bring it back and forth 5 times. And switch over now to the other side, lifting that right knee up, activating the foot in some way. Whatever feels good. And now we're going to draw that knee out and back. Draw that right knee into the chest. Use your arms, lift it up. Balance. Hold it upright, keep your body upright. We're going to go back and forth. One more time. And release. One more thing, just because I need it. You can choose to go circle 6 times each way, or do that infinity or figure 8 symbol 4 times in front and 4 times in back, or choose something else that loosens up your hips if you don't want to do either of those. But starting on the right leg, raise that left knee up. I'm going to go for the more difficult but feels better to me, infinity. Behind. Switch over to the other side. And behind, if you're doing this one. All right, shake it out, move into the front of the mat, coming into your mountain. So, feet are pointing forward, toes are about hips distance apart. That's it, I said that backwards, see? Toes pointing forward, feet about hips distance apart. Work your way up your body with action and awareness. Inward spiral of the shins. We've got some work to do here, but bringing the shoulders up, back, drawing them down. Palms face forward, back of the neck is long. Close your eyes and find that center of balance we all have between our feet. You might be leaning to the side or forward or back. Try to find the center. Think of your word. On your next inhale, lift those arms and work your way to the floor. It's our first forward fold. Make sure you bend your knees to reach the floor or use a block. Do not hang. Checking in with the backs of our legs. If you're super flexible and your palms are to the floor and your legs are straight, see if you can get your chest onto your thighs. You can add on as much or as little as you need to feel a stretch here. One more breath. Alright, put your hands down so that you can press back your left leg into a runner's lunge and make it, move it, play with it. Make it feel good. Do the lower part of the leg, heel, Achilles area, or the front part. And then we're going to step forward and step the opposite leg back, doing the same. Now we step back to a plank, any level, waking up that core. Pressing up, downward facing dog. Again, make it playful. You're checking in. Maybe you want to come forward into a plank again. Bend your knees. Stretch up your back. Coming into balance now. And by balance on your down dog, I mean you're going to get your ears in line with your arms. Really press up the arms. Lift up the sitting bones and then lower. Make some action happen through the backs of the legs. Even if your knees are bent. We don't want our sitting bones to drop just to get our heels down. That's defeating the purpose. So we find action up the back and down the backs of the legs. We find balance because downward facing dog, when done properly, is a resting pose. One more breath here. Finding your own way forward with the right leg. Come into high lunge. So this being the last class of this summer session, let's just take a moment to think about our cues. That right knee over the ankle, we should be able to see our first and second toe. We don't want to block it out with our knee, and we don't want to see our whole foot having it be too far behind our ankle. So put it right above. Set your hips level. Lift that back heel if it's dropping to the side. Straighten that left leg. Lift higher through the crown of your head. We're going to take a twist to the right. You've got options. You can lower the left knee for either of these, putting your left hand down, stacking the arms, or staying up here and taking elbow over knee to the right. Whichever version with knee down or knee up you would like to do. Move there now. Hands to the floor, step back, another 5-breath plank. Feel free to change your level if you'd like, going down onto your forearms if your wrists bother you. Lifting back up to your downward facing dog, feeling free to move it around or to find that balance we talked about. And just hold here 5 breaths. Now finding your left leg, swing it through. Checking in on the foundation of this high lunge for proper position of knee over ankle, hips, back leg, torso, all those parts that we checked in with on the other side. We're going to take a twist now to the left, same options. Find your level, twist it left, and breathe. Bringing those hands to the floor again. This time we take our plank down onto our bellies for a cobra. So move it down slowly. Elbows going toward the back of the mat. Hover for a moment if you can, building a little strength, then release. With the power of your core, your back muscles lift up into a baby cobra. Elbows tucked close. Release down, rest. We're going to go locust, but we're going to go only half of a locust. I'm just making that word up, but we want to keep our toes on the floor. I want you to build a little more back strength here. So looking at the floor in front, reach your hands behind, palms face the floor. Lift from your chest. Reach back through the fingertips. Keep your toenails on the floor. Release that cheek down again, rest your arms. Now we're going to do a full locust next. So this time your feet can leave the floor. Reaching those arms back, finding a place to keep your gaze so you don't hurt your neck. Inhale, lift and fly. Come down, fingertips to the front of the mat. We're going to go extended puppy. So this really gives you the back stretch that if you lack that stretch because of tight hamstrings in down dog, you should be able to feel it here. Lowering that forehead down, bringing your head even lower than your arms. Lifting your sitting bones. Pressing down through your fingertips. Given the option to stay there or to press back into a child's pose now for your low back and hips, keeping the knees right in line where they are or taking them wide. Lifting back up to all fours. Lifting right on up to downward facing dog. Finding your right leg, raising it up, swinging it through. This time, take it smoothly all the way up to your crescent lunge, adding the arms if you're able, adding that lean back to deeply stretch the front of the left leg, to open your chest, and to strengthen that low back because we're leaning back and having to support those arms. Hands come back to heart center, and we're going to rock forward and up into our one-legged balance. Now we're going to take that left leg and send it back into a warrior three, balancing again, extending, pointing the toe down. Hands come down. We step back, plank, choosing to lower through the sun salutation here in our own way or go back to downward facing dog and meet me there. Back at downward facing dog, we balance. Feeling that stretch up the back and down the backs of the legs. We take that left leg and swing it through and up, coming into our crescent lunge, opposite side. Nice and smooth. Opening up, reaching back. Beautiful. Hands come to heart center. We rock forward, either step it forward or step it right up. One-legged balance. And release that foot. Check in with your mountain foundation here. A little quicker than last time. On your next inhale, we begin the sun salutation, lifting up, working our way down. Inhale halfway. Hands to the floor, step back to your plank, lower down. Cobra, Sphinx, or up dog at the bottom. Downward facing dog. Whatever leg you stepped back with, unless you jumped, step forward with that same one, coming back to your forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Stretch out that spine. Exhale, back down, bend those knees. One more sun salutation. I'll meet you at forward fold, using the other leg this time to step back if you can. Meet at forward fold. Hey, I forgot something I realized, didn't I? That's okay, we'll get it now. Inhale halfway. And then we're gonna shift it over into the left leg and send our right leg back into that warrior three. Straightening that right leg out, pointing the toe down. And then hands come down, we step back to plank. Lower down onto our bellies. We're going to take a little bow pose here. So we're going to lift our feet towards our body and reach back with each hand, grabbing those feet. Keeping our feet from going wide, keeping our knees from going wide. We're going to inhale, lift, press our feet into our hands, coming into bow pose. Take a few breaths here. Let it stretch your arms out, open your chest, maybe stretch your quads, and strengthen your back. Release, press up, downward facing dog. Finding that right leg, raise it up, bring it through, warrior two. Sliding it over to side angle, elbow to knee, left arm can stay at hip or reach over for a deeper stretch. Keep that booty tucked. Without pressing up too hard off the knee, use your core, lift up, reach that right arm, palm faces up. We're gonna go right into a reverse. Reaching back toward the back of the mat. And then we're going to come back upright into our warrior two, only for a moment. Bringing our hands behind us, coming into humble warrior. Interlacing the fingers or making fists, drawing the elbows and shoulders back. If you're able to stretch your arms out for a big chest opener and arm stretch, go ahead. And then if you choose to lower yourself down toward that right knee for a deeper stretch, please do. Either meet me at downward facing dog or lower through the sun salutation, your way. From down dog, find your left leg, take it forward, warrior two. Keeping your booty tucked, slide it over to side angle, elbow to knee, your choice of the right arm's position. Hip or fully extended. Use your core to lift, right up to warrior two, flip that left palm up, take it into the reverse. Back to warrior two for a moment, and then our hands come behind. Coming into humble warrior, drawing elbows and shoulders back, stretching the arms out if you're able, and lowering down next to this left knee. Put both hands on either side of the left foot, flip the back heel up and take it forward into a forward fold. Really stretch here, pressing into that floor, straightening those legs. Now, you can take a low back stretch here if you're ready for it by taking your feet wider than hips distance, reaching for opposite elbows, or possibly reaching behind if you want more of a chest opener and lifting up. You decide which one you're ready for, or maybe it's just a forward fold with your fingers on the ground. Finding your hands back to the floor, pressing in, walking your feet into normal hips distance apart range. Lift up halfway, turn your head for the neck a couple of times each way, lengthen through the spine. Then we're going to bend those knees, press down, and take it all the way up. Extending fully to the sky in your own way, interlaced or lifting. Take a lean in each direction. And release. All right, we're going to go into little hip work from the balancing. Hip and core work, we'll call it. We're going to do tree, and we're going to move tree into standing figure four. I've been working on the increased ability to stand upright in a figure four here, pressing in, hugging in front to back. If you want to continue with that to keep working your strength around this left hip when we get there, you can do that. Or if you prefer to take a deeper stretch and settle down, you can do that as well. So you get a choice there. But we're going to start in tree, and then we're going to move into that. We're going to do 8 breaths at each one. So if you want to put your foot down in between, I'll give you that option. So starting on the right foot, turn the left knee and toe out to the side, and then find your way up to your tree, hugging in, finding that center line where both parts are working together. That requires some strength in your hip as well, so hopefully you're feeling it. Then you can add any challenge your body needs here for balance. If you're going to put your foot down in between poses, go and do that now. Otherwise, we have one more breath. And then we're going to slide that left ankle above that right knee, coming into our standing figure four, finding the strength in our hip to hug in front to back. Stand up tall, and remember, you have the option to stay here if you can feel that work, or take a deeper stretch by sinking into a lower figure four. Your choice. Two more breaths. Shake that out, preparing to do the other side. We're going to stand on the left leg. Turn our right toes and knee out to the side. Find that hug and strength that we need from the hip, part of the hip and part of the core, coming into our best tree. Adding any balance challenges we need to, any movement to challenge our balance that we need. Two more breaths, so one more and then you can put your foot down if you want to reset before the other pose. Here we go, sliding over into our standing figure 4, hugging in front to back. Feeling that work in this right hip as we hug in, draw ourselves up tall or settle into a stretch going lower. 8 breaths. One more breath. And release. Whew. All right. We're going to take it down for a butterfly or a garland. You can do either. Butterfly, go ahead, write down now. Put your soles of your feet together. Let your knees fall open and then take any additional stretch to feel that. We're going to take about 8 breaths in garland. If you can't last that long, go ahead and go to seated whenever you need to. Garland, we come down between those legs. First order of business is to get our feet flat. So however you need to position them to get them flat. If you're flat and your butt is down, use your elbows to guide your knees wider. Fire up between your shoulder blades, make a trench. Take them even wider with the knees. And we breathe here. Two more breaths. And release to seated. Alright, we had a request for a little core work. We don't have a lot of time, so we're going to do just a sustained boat, which means you guys can choose something else if you don't want to do this. What we're going to do is reverse order. We're going to start with the easiest pose, take the longest breaths, then we're just going to try to move right to the second pose and right to the third pose without putting our feet down. I realize that not everybody will want to do that, so you can put your feet down at any time. I'll let you know when we're transitioning to the next hardest pose. So starting with your easiest, chest open, back flat. You can keep your heels on the ground lightly if you need to, or lift them up. We're going to start with 8 breaths. Working our abdominals. Switching to the next hardest position, 7 breaths. Here we go. Switching to the next hardest, 6 breaths. And then we release back to our backs, bring those knees into our chest, roll that low back out with a few circles or rocks. Moving right into our pigeon, we're going to take the left ankle in front of the right knee. Find our best position here. Sometimes it's pressing that left knee for me down toward the bottom of the mat as I draw that right ankle towards me with the right leg. Just finding your best stretch in the left hip. taking it into a glute stretch. I'm going to do the one where I take my right leg long and draw my left knee across with my right hand, but you could also stack your knees and pull down and away on your feet if that's a better left glute stretch for your body. Switching sides for the pigeon, bring the right ankle in front of the left knee. Find your way to the best right hip stretch. Right glute stretch, I'm going to send my left leg long and use my left hand to draw the right knee over, but you can choose the other glute stretch if you choose. Finding a final stretch or just moving into your Shavasana as I start the music. If you want a little more relief for your hips, you might want to do a butterfly, letting gravity help a little bit. Or a twist for your low back. Find something that works for you. I'll try to get us out of here on time, but if anybody has to leave early, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this summer schedule with me, and I hope to see you sign up for the next one, whenever it's on Sprout.